These highlights are brought to you in association with WBS Keeler, specialists in joinery and shop fitting.
It's the final of the National Bowl at Murrayfield, and East Kilbride line up against Morgan Academy FP. Morgan with their own piper in support. East Kilbride, well, they know all about Morgan. They've played them twice this season. It's one game all. But Morgan are here this afternoon defending the bowl, and it would be a terrific achievement if they were to win this afternoon in defence of last year's win, as well as getting themselves promoted to Premier 3. And early on, the exchanges were pretty feisty, but Andrew Clark's wee chip ahead looked as though it was going nowhere, mopped up quite easily by Scott Dalgleish. But when he tried to find the support, there was Danny Nykirk and the big Morgan number 8. Well, if you had offered him a try like that in the first 10 minutes of the bowl final, he'd have bitten your arm off for it. Yes, the support were happy, and Graham Kiddie had no problem with that conversion from right in front of the posts to take Morgan ahead after 11 minutes. East Kilbride, though, knew that they couldn't afford to let Morgan put any stamp at all in this game. And close to the line, well, a couple of dips there. Fraser Stott held up just short, looking for quick ball with East Kilbride, but they didn't get it. And after Morgan had offended, Callum Blackwood had no problem in getting East Kilbride on the board. And then, with 35 minutes gone, Scott Dalgleish putting pressure on with that break. The clearance kick not getting away, and Fraser Stott, well, look at that, throwing off one tackler, throwing off another, and a terrific bust. But oh dear, skipper Fraser McKinnon, he was the man up in support, but he was also the man who put the pass down. Advantage Morgan, the ball slammed downfield, nobody at home for East Kilbride, and the follow-up, well, it wasn't quite good enough to nail the East Kilbride boys. Break out again, this time by Larry Gabler. Number 8, Ali Dalgleish on his elbow. Gordon Stevenson in support. Then Ali Dalgleish. And, well, East Kilbride keeping the ball alive. And although Andy McDonald knocked on, play on, said referee Gary Gordon, playing advantage. But this time, the knock-on by East Kilbride ended a pulsating passage of play. And then, as half-time approached, long downfield kick. Put Morgan defence into a bit of bother, but they were pretty composed in defence. Held on to the ball, worked it back, and Lyndon Chalmers was the man who tried to get the ball downfield. Certainly got it away as far as the 10-metre line. And then, well, quick thinking by East Kilbride. Quick throw into Scott Dalgleish. Wee chip ahead. Would he win the race for the touchdown? Yes, the big fellow was there. In for the try. And that was East Kilbride, 8 points to 7 ahead going into half-time. Took the team by surprise, but not this lady.
These highlights are brought to you in association with WBS Keeler, specialists in joinery and shop fitting.
Into the second half, and both sides testing each other out. Very, very little between the two teams. Both attacks proving, both defences proving equal to the task, but Morgan just showing that extra wee bit of ingenuity with their hands on the ball and stretching the East Kilbride defence. Nice wee return pass there for Andrew Clark, and Graham Kitty slinging out a long ball, but again the East Kilbride defence up very, very quickly, and just too quickly perhaps. Coming in from the side it was, said Gary Gordon, but Graham Kitty had no problem in giving Morgan the lead by 10 points to 8 as the game approached the final quarter. Danny Van Niekerk taking that one off the back of the scrum. Again, Morgan patiently going through the phases, but it really looked like nothing was on when this ball reached Mark Hopkins, but my goodness, was something on. An electrifying run by this winger on as a replacement, off his right foot, off his left foot, and then handing off and hauled down just short of the line, and Graham Kitty right on his elbow to take a pass for what was a memorable try for the men from Dundee. 4 minutes later, and East Kilbride under a wee bit of pressure in the scrum there, but keeping possession, taking the ball over the 22, and Fraser Stott waiting for the ball, worked out into midfield, but oh, a terrific tackle on Larry Gabler, and ball pinched by Morgan standoff Andrew Clark all the way up to the East Kilbride 22, and just a wee bit over enthusiastic in the defence there gave Graham Kitty the chance to stretch the lead to 18 points to 8. East Kilbride knew they had to get points on the board if they were going to have any hope of salvaging the game, and after several flurries into the danger zone, finally Gary Gordon awarded a penalty, and Callum Blackwood made no mistake with a pretty difficult kick, but that pulled it back to a 7-point margin, and both sides knew that another East Kilbride try and conversion would see the game into extra time. Well, East Kilbride pulled out all the stops, the big men in there, Grant Frogley, Fraser McKinnon, John Watson, but Morgan holding out, and as the clock was running down, well, Fraser Stott, lovely wee backflip there to Fraser McKinnon, but as the ball was laid back for him, oh dear, Fraser Stott knocked the ball on. You could see his frustration. He knew that was probably the last chance. The East Kilbride support urging their side on, but knowing now that there was very little chance that they could halt the men from Morgan. And when Gary Gordon gave the penalty for East Kilbride diving in, Gary Niekerk grabbed a hold of Greg Mason and made quite certain that the replacement scrum half knew exactly where the ball was going. Into touch, stopped the game, final whistle. Morgan successfully defending the National Bowl with a final scoreline of 18 points to 11. And they even brought the mini section along to celebrate. Well, East Kilbride gave them a terrific fight, but Paul Romanovsky, Morgan Academy FP, the man who lifts the bowl, successfully defended.
Right up to the last minute, both teams were still in the game. I just say credit to everybody, all 44 people that played today, and made it a very good game to watch as well.
So a successful defence of the ball by Morgan Academy FP. East Kilbride gave them a terrific run for their money, but it's the end of a memorable season for the men from Dundee. Ron Evans for Scottish Rugby Television at Murrayfield.
These highlights are brought to you in association with WBS Keeler, specialists in joinery and shop fitting.